Hey guys, SoCal Val here. You are listening to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. This is our SmackDown review show. I am one of your hosts, Andy Burrows. Good morning. And I am joined by one of my illustrious co-hosts, good friend, Mr. Adam Cousins. Adam, good morning. It's me and you again, bro. These AEW guys, they can't get out of bed.
Yeah, we can't get the staff these days. It's not a surprise, though, is it? EW boys can't get out of bed. They banned all these moves, and now they're not showing up to podcast.
Yeah, now it looks like they've banned an alarm clock. We'll let Parker off. It is 3 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Dave, no excuses.
Can't be having that, mate.
No excuses, mate. We're going to have a debrief at a HR meeting. We're here to review SmackDown. Ads got done watching it literally like half an hour ago. What did you make of this week's SmackDown? We said last week that the girls didn't get much time. Wow, it felt like a SmackDown-driven women's show this week. Very women top-heavy. I quite enjoyed the opening segment. Obviously, Bianca coming out to the ring to kick off SmackDown. Mate, what did you make of it?
The SmackDown as a whole, I've seen better, I've seen worse. I think it does highlight the fact that when this bloodline stuff's over,
there's not much behind it.
There isn't much going on behind it, and there's not even a storyline that you can, I'm not saying would be anywhere near the level of the bloodline, but they haven't got one that's ready and waiting. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But overall, I thought it was good. The opening promo from Belair was fine. I'm still waiting to see what happens. We'll discuss something that happens with the Street Profits later, and I don't know whether she fits into that equation after some.
Yeah, it looked like the Battle of the Cat Suits when Charlotte Flair come out.
Yes.
But obviously they were in North Carolina, which is Flair country, so they were always going to get Charlotte Flair out, and it's kind of teased a SummerSlam match if Bianca had won. Where do you think they're going with the women at SummerSlam? Any ideas?
Triple threat, I think.
Got to be in it, really.
I think when we discuss what happens in the main event, I think it's the only way to go. Do they throw Bayley into the mix? I don't know, because she hasn't really got anything really to so they may do a 4-way. Obviously, you've still got the cash in that we're expecting to happen at some point with Io Sky. Does that happen? That was again teased on the show tonight, or this morning when we watched it. But yeah, I think triple threat or a 4-way would be the way I would do it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, mate. But yeah, obviously, so Bianca opened up with a fairly good promo. Her promos have got a lot better, I must admit. Since you can tell that she's been working on it, and when she first came in, I was like, oh God, please don't give her a microphone. But she's been getting a lot better. She's really improved her promo skills. So that kicked off SmackDown, solid opening, I thought. We then got I think it was Pretty Deadly versus the Brawling Brutes.
Yes,
I'm still not sure how to take Pretty Deadly, mate. I'm not sure, mate. What did you make of it? Are you happy with them being on TV quite a lot now? I mean, I'm still not sure. I'm not.
I don't mind them. I think they're
all right.
They're all right. They've got I don't know. It's a weird one because they was taking on Sheamus and Ridge. Mm-hmm. Sheamus is now in a match next week that will get on as a single, so it's kind of it's all basically centered around Austin Theory because of the United States Championship. But they need to. I think that's done now. The Street, not Street Profits, the Pretty Deadly and the Brutes. I think that's done. I mean, Pretty Deadly have won the last 3.
Yeah, they obviously won this match and even though the referee was looking at the turnbuckle when it was exposed, I was a bit like they botched the shit out of this because he's literally staring right at it.
They hit the turnbuckle, Andy.
Oh,
come on. Never you got to be up early to catch me.
No, we are up bloody early as well, mate. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. But I'm kind of with you. I think the Brawling Brutes is done now. It'd be interesting to see what Sheamus is going to go his own way. Interesting to see what happens.
I think Butch will as well. He'll eventually come back to Pete Dunne at some point.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do. Yeah, but Pretty Deadly win. And this show was pretty much for the men. It was revolving around the United States title. You're quite happy to see that's now getting some. We said last week they're not sure what they're doing with it. It's now getting obviously got some TV time this week. Do you think it's inevitable that LA Knight wins the United States title at SummerSlam?
Well, I think every time we say it's inevitable, it never happens, does it? I would like him. Well, actually, no, I wouldn't. I'd like him to win it later because I think it's too expectant of him to win it now.
Tease it for even longer.
Yeah, I know it's bad because obviously everyone wanted him to win Money in the Bank and they didn't. There was an outrage. Everyone's expecting him to win the Fatal 4-Way next week, which we'll get into, and then go on.
You think they need to cash in on it now, though? Like Parker said last week when we reviewed SmackDown.
I do.
WWE need to cash in on this. Like, you only see the pop on SmackDown last night. That was like probably the biggest pop of the night.
I do.
Probably more than Jimmy Uso.
Yeah, I do agree. They do need to cash in on it soon because they will come to a point where everyone will just be like, well, it's not going to happen, is it? So, but I was just like, get a little bit longer. But SummerSlam being one of the big pay-per-views, it would make sense because you didn't give him the moment that he wanted at Money in the Bank. Looks like Grayson Waller, and I'll talk about Grayson Waller quickly now, and I know you're shaking your head, but the rumors are that because of these Hollywood strikes that are going on at the moment, that he's going to be hosting The Rock on the Grayson Waller effect on SummerSlam.
At SummerSlam?
Yeah.
Take my money. The great one is,
He's been going back and forth on Twitter with.
Can't have The Rock in the building and not include him in the Uso storyline, can you?
Well, maybe that's what they're going to. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, it's all rumors at the minute. I mean, we know it could end up being Austin if The Rock isn't available. You know what it's like with this thing. But just an interesting tidbit, and he keeps mentioning The Rock. He mentioned him on the promo that he had today. I know we're segueing slightly from what we were talking about United States title.
Yeah,
but,
no, that's fine.
And LA Knight, but yeah, it would be. I'm keen to see if that happens. Maybe he'll start throwing the opportunity out there for The Rock to turn up, or it could just be as a surprise segment. You know, they did with Cena at Money in the Bank, and they've done it with others. I can't imagine them not advertising The Rock though.
You'll have eyes on SummerSlam anyway, which is good. So yeah, I mean, if it was a normal SmackDown show, then yeah, advertise The Rock because the viewing figures will go through the roof because probably one of the greatest. He's in the top 3 of all time. SummerSlam though, I think you could do it as a surprise segment and have The Rock come out and just kick the living shit out of Grayson Waller. And then you could tease something with the bloodline. Then
he could. I mean, he could just do a backstage thing where he just walks up to him.
Could have him just literally face to face and then just go off, don't say nothing, and then the seed's planted. Then you know what I mean? But
we don't know what happens with that.
Survivor Series, Mania, Rumble, it could be planted. Again, there was a lot of women's action. We had Bayley versus Zelina Vega. Again, another nod to the women this week. A bit like the producers of SmackDown have gone, we fucked up last week.
Don't say they've gone on strike. Fucking hell.
Thank God the writer's strike doesn't affect the wrestling. But yeah, again, it was another nod to them saying, okay, look, we're giving everyone TV time this week. And, Jey had his little segment, which we're going to get to in a minute. Yeah. But another Io Sky intervened in the match. Bayley helped Io win, wasn't it? And something like that. Yeah, I got really confused. I'm not sure what they're doing with Bayley right now. I think she's getting kind of lost in the shuffle. She's more interested in helping Io cash in the Money in the Bank. And I don't know, not that they dropped the ball with Bayley, but I just think she's getting. I think she's getting lost somewhere. I mean, they need to. I don't know. Is she reinventing again? I mean, I don't know where they go with her.
Yeah, it's she's getting lost a bit. I think they need to just break up this damage control thing and get it on her separate ways. I thought the match was a bit clunky though. I wasn't a fan of the match itself. They're both good athletes. They're both, we can't see even slate wrestlers. We can wrestle for shit, but what we see on the TV.
I just about got out of bed this morning.
Yeah, me too. I did like the Shotzi promo when she cut her hair. Now there is a backstory to that. She shaved her hair because her sister has cancer. So that's a big thing. And obviously we wish her very well indeed. And whatever she's going through, and hopefully she'll, beat it and stuff like that. But it did make I think, again, sometimes when you have the realist or the real life bit in a promo. So because obviously that promo is going to mean so much to her for a separate reason rather than wrestling, it was probably one of her best promos that she's done because of that element to it, which I really enjoyed. And, her shaving the head is it's going to be interesting to see what she looks like, but what happens after now. And as we say, hopefully her sister beats cancer and gets in remission.
Yeah, no, hopefully, mate. Hopefully. Then they didn't put the bloodline bit at the end today. No. Obviously, the women was the main event last night. Jey Uso rocks out to the ring and cuts a very good promo. Solo comes out with Paul Heyman. It all pretty much kicks off, and Paul Heyman took one of the worst super kicks I think I've ever seen anyone take in my life. He took it, stood there for 2 seconds, and went, "Oh shit, I've got to fall over." Yeah. What did you make of the segment? Kind of advertised Roman Reigns coming on again next week. Our tribal chief is back on SmackDown next Friday. What did you make of any further advanced in the? They mentioned obviously Jimmy and Jay's dad. We know as Rikishi. Are they kind of teasing more family members getting involved?
Maybe. I think so. I think they did. And they also, Paul Heyman made a very interesting point as well, which maybe, I don't know, but he said that Jimmy would never be able to forgive Jay. And I don't know whether that's, I'm not saying they're going to turn it again and he's going to turn on Jay, but it's, the seeds already planted there now, which was great work from Heyman. I mean, it wasn't going to be a massive segment this week just because last week was over an hour. They've done, obviously Roman wasn't there this week. He's back next week. It's on FS1 next week. So before any AEW fans like David and Parker going, "Oh, look at the rating," it's sure as shit on FS1. So don't worry about the ratings, boys, and concentrate on trying to get above 1 million viewers. But
good luck with that one.
But anyway, the segment was great. It was a good segment. I don't think it further advanced anything. I think they'd already announced, if I was watching it on the break before Jey Uso come out, when we have a little video package that plays what happens, I was quite surprised because it was already saying next week. And they're doing the reigns of something or other next week. And they'd already announced that Roman and what they were going to do
coming next week,
before Jey went out. So it was kind of a weird one. But I don't think it further advanced. I just think it done what he needed to do, ready for next week.
Yeah, no, I quite enjoyed it. It was a cool segment. Anytime I get to see a Bloodline segment, I thought it was good. It's going to be interesting to see what they do next week with Roman. It's good to see him coming on to more TV. Really, I think he's going to be booked now pretty much till SummerSlam. There's no way he drops the title to Jey at SummerSlam, is there? A lot of people tweeted us, and I've seen a lot of tweets back and forth saying now would be the time for him to drop it. I'm like, no, I can't. Not in a million years do I see him dropping this title at SummerSlam. Is there any way that he drops the title at SummerSlam?
Unless they've decided to pull the trigger on the end of the Bloodline. They did say, and I think it was on Raw, it might have been on SmackDown, that the Bloodline feud will end at SummerSlam. So I don't think it can end with Jey winning because Roman will get an automatic rematch. That's standard if
Watch wrestling ever.
every time you lose, you get a rematch kind of thing. So I don't think he does. But and I think this SmackDown's proven that you still need it.
Like you say, is it quite like you said at the start of the show? Is it quite worrying that once this Bloodline, there's talk though that the Bloodline storyline is going to end and Roman's just going to go off and do another. He's still going to be in the WWE, but it's not going to be the Bloodline storyline. But I don't see how you have them all in still. How do you have them all still involved in new storylines without mentioning the Bloodline? Because it's been such a big part of WWE for the last 3 years.
I know it doesn't make a lot of difference in this day and age. But you switch them in the draft and you separate it. I mean, you can still cast the Bloodline. I know this draft and everything. Listen, they turn up. Cody was on the dark match this week.
He's backstage at SmackDown. I saw someone tweet a Raw superstars backstage at SmackDown. Yes, because he was doing a dark match.
Yeah, but point being is shouldn't be on there regardless because he's a Raw superstar. But that's the thing with it. That's the only thing I can see you doing because you can still mention the Bloodline if they were on separate shows. They just wouldn't be together. So I think the necessary step would be switch them.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. What did we have after Jimmy and Jey? Did we go to the main event? I can't remember.
No, you had a 4-way.
Oh yes, the 4-way for the was it the United States qualifier?
Invitational.
Yeah, the United States Invitational. It was good to see that getting some TV time. Yes. What did you make of it?
I enjoyed the match. I thought the match was good. What I liked about it, and I know we were slating the match last week, AJ and Cross. Because AJ did basically jobbed him out, in 3 minutes. I like the fact that Cross literally it's not over, and they're giving Cross some time because that guy's talented, and I don't know what is it, and it's difficult, I suppose, because you haven't got a world champion on every week like a road, we know Seth Rollins on Raw every week. He does. I'm not saying you need an open challenge every week, but you need constant feuds for Seth. But at the moment, it's always Roman, Jey, Roman, somebody else, and until. Hopefully, by the end of SummerSlam, we will now kind of know who's next for Roman. But I think that does hamper people like Cross because the heels are the champions. you look at it, Austin Theory, Roman Reigns, technically is a heel, I'd be probably a tweener, but it's and with Karen Cross can't really go for those titles in a minute. I know it's sort of put him in a program. So I'm glad to see him get time. I thought the 4-way was really good. Like that match. Was surprised that Santos won. I thought
I was well surprised at that.
I thought Grayson was going to sneak it because he was getting beaten up left, right, centre at the start, wasn't he? He was just every time he was getting jumped in the ring, he was getting punched out. And probably you love that. But but because then they also still, because they said, the winner will take on Austin Theory, I think at SummerSlam. That does still potentially have the Rock on the Grayson Waller effect at SummerSlam.
Bring back the great one. We then went backstage. Bobby Lashley. You're like a prophet, Ads. You've said this a good few months ago now. You would like to see the Hurt Business 2.0 reformed. Was this the start of it on SmackDown last night?
Oh, I hope so. When they were at the back and they were waiting for someone to turn up, I was like, this is the start of the Profits turning. And then Lashley, I know Lashley's a face at the minute, but he hasn't been seen for months. Yeah, and when he come out, I was like, look at that group. Just think of that. I mean, I know it's difficult because we've got a lot of groups at the moment. We've got the LWO, we've got Judgment Day, we still got the Bloodlines, technically 2 groups. But this is the opportunity. And then what you can then do eventually, because we know Montez is destined for great things, he can then come out of that eventually. But I'm all for this. I hope they move Bianca into it as well as a 4.
Yeah, no, I'm like you said a couple of months ago now, you were hoping this happens. When I saw it, I thought of you. I was like, I know someone that's going to be happy with this segment. Yeah, I hope it happens. I mean, I love Bobby Lashley, and I think they need that other faction that isn't the Bloodline to carry some storylines and carry some weight on SmackDown moving forward, depending what happens with the Bloodline story line after SummerSlam. Sorry. What did we get to the main event? The women headline SmackDown doesn't happen that often. Again, all these haters out there that people don't get time and they're not getting this and they're not getting that. Well, they got time this week and they put on a hell of a main event. I thought it was really good.
It was good. It was slightly obvious the way it was going.
I think you tweeted out yesterday, didn't you? DQ finish. I think you don't have to be a wrestling guru to figure out where that was going.
You literally didn't need to understand the physics of this, where it was going. You knew it was going to be a DQ. Match itself was fine. I thought it was good. It always is with those two. I mean, as much as I don't like Charlotte too much, I know you do. Her ring work is fantastic. Yeah, well. Her ring work is fantastic. I'll never take that away. Bianca's great in the ring. You obviously had the money in the bank potential cash in, which was doing it. What I found really silly though was that they were both backstage talking to Pierce, Bayley, Io, and Charlotte, but they still went out with tickets.
I like the bit when they said, well, Bianca was at Money in the Bank and she was sat ringside. How the fuck did she get a ticket ringside? I'm up in the gods.
Yeah, I know. It's like, how did you get a front row seat, for that? And they kind of just standing there, weren't they? In the sort of aisle way kind of thing. So I'd like to know where that ticket come from. But I thought that was a bit silly because they were already backstage. They'd already done promos. I know Charlotte had left and then she said she was coming back. Yeah. Adam Pearce never said you're barred from ringside. So they didn't need to do that bit, but they did. The match was great. I enjoyed it. Asuka always.
Another teased cash in again. I wonder how long they're going to. That's the only thing. I hope they're going to do that every week. Oh God,
they went on both though, weren't they? Like with Priest as well as Io. So I don't like the teasing. I just want it to be done. Not saying done, but I like them to take their time with it because Money in the Bank is one of those intriguing things because it's always got to be in the back of your mind. And that's what adds the surprise element to these matches or these premium live events and stuff like that. Because there's always that intrigue while the briefcase isn't cashed in is when.
So I like it when they leave it a bit longer. When you forgot about it, but a good few months could go and then all of a sudden you hear the mute Edge and you're like, yeah, exactly.
Edge was a prime example. The first time he won it, he held it for nearly a year.
And cashed it in.
You did really forget about it until
he come out and stood next to Vince
McMahon. New Year's Revolution and put the briefcase on it. And
it's good. Yeah, I hope they just don't do these false cash-ins at the end of like every SmackDown and Raw. But I thought it was a solid show, mate. It was better than Raw, put it that way.
It won't get much worse than
it was better than Dynamite, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't better than Impact.
Impact was great. The Impact was really good.
Still the show of the week for me.
Impact for me was show of the week. I really enjoyed it.
I will say, the show of the week. I will say, Collision looks
Yeah, the
really
collision looks
tasty.
stacked.
And I
Yeah,
think
tonight
that could. And then we got Slammiversary as well. But in terms of a weekly show, it's going to be out of Impact and Collision this week. I think Collision might nick it as long as it's booked right.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
He's not here to defend himself, but we've got a red button here. It says we're recording. We done our top 10 yesterday.
I knew he was going to get onto this.
I can't let this episode go. Dave, good old Dave, sent us. He texted us in our little WhatsApp group his top 10. He couldn't make the show. He's a very busy man right now. Is our Dave. Dave's top 10 list, Adam, included in the top of all time commentators, all time that's ever done it, included Taz and Excalibur. Please help me figure Dave's list out. I wish he was on the show yesterday. I don't know. Maybe he had a bump on the head or something. I don't know.
Well, we know he's looking after his pregnant missus. So
he's looking after him. We'll give him a pass for yesterday, but that still doesn't mean you have to give me a stupid top 10.
Well, no, that doesn't excuse the fact that he put Excalibur at 6 and Taz at 3.
Yeah, he had JR and Shivani at 1 and 2. That's fine.
That's fine.
Taz was at 3, Excalibur at 6. Excalibur was above Michael Cole.
And he was your number 1.
Yeah. What?
Now,
help me here.
I can't really help you. He basically said a lot of stuff about you can't really do like the Gordon Solis because it wasn't his time. I can get that. You got kind of
1997, Dave started watching wrestling. So I was 17 when Dave started watching.
There you go.
Good time to start watching, to be fair. Attitude Era was we were still well. But Taz and Excalibur in the top 10 of all time.
He must be on Meltzer's playlist if he's got Excalibur in there. He's fucking atrocious. I can't stand the guy. I can't stand Excalibur. I really can't. I don't know what the fuss is with him, but he's shit. But Dave, you're in trouble, mate, and you need to come out. We're going to do top 10 heel turns next.
Oh, yes. That's going to be... I already know my number 1.
I've got my number 1 already. I'm about halfway through the list, but Dave, we need a big list from you on that one.
Yeah, the HR department have been called, Dave. He will be getting called for a disciplinary. But no, it's all subjective. It's Dave's list. Just don't put Taz and Excalibur in there again. But yeah, we are going to do this all. I think we're quite busy this weekend. I think we're going to be dropping a collision review.
Well, the boys will, hopefully, if they get out of bed.
I don't, if the AEW guys can turn up, if they can get out of their bed. Hopefully Dave and Parker will be bringing you a Collision and Rampage joint review. Adam, I know we're going to try and squeeze in a Slammiversary review over this weekend. Slammiversary is tonight, 1 a.m. Sunday morning for us, or we'll get it out Monday. We've got Raw reviews coming up. We've got some great guests coming up. We've got Buckle Up next Sunday, as we say. But make sure you go and check out our social media for all that information at HTT Buckle on Twitter. Again, as I always say, you can check us out on all socials: YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I didn't forget anything this week.
No, you said Twitter, you said Facebook, you said Instagram, you said TikTok. Hopefully they don't ever bring out any more social media stuff.
Oh, they have. What's Threads? People keep telling me I have no idea what it is.
What?
Threads. It's the new version of Twitter, I think. You'll have to look into it. Someone tweeted us about at the beginning of last week asking if we were on Threads. I was like,
so we've got to do something else now.
Oh, I don't know, man. We go and get Rachel out of bed. Tell her she's got something new to do. I don't know.
Kick her out of bed.
Yeah, kick her out of bed. But Ads, it's been a good. Enjoyed it, mate. Enjoyed SmackDown this week, mate. Let's do it all again next week. Like I say, go and check us out on all socials. We've got loads of stuff dropping this week. Top 10 heel turns next week on the top 10. So anyone wants to comment on that, just drop us your top 10 heel turns.
We will put that, post it out early.
Yeah, we'll post it out like Tuesday or Wednesday so we can get the show done on Friday. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been another good episode of the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast with myself, Andy Burrows, my good friend and co-host, Mr. Adam Cousins. Them AEW guys, we'll get them out of bed one day. But till next time, everybody, buckle down. Stay safe.